Jacksonville. Old school.
Going to be stolen, I think, by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Ray rocks the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Stolen by Bird on the cut to DJ. Yes! Buckle up for Kobe Bryant.
New era.
Oh! A jawbreaker! Curry, way downtown. Bang!
It's all basketball.
A spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Lace 'em up. It's time for 1010XL's Open Gym. Leading the break, here's RJ Saunders.
It is our final night filling in for Rick Ballou and taking Hacker's time slot. It's another great edition of Open Gym. RJ Saunders here with you, along with Dylan Denmark. You guys, the city of Jacksonville, here with us, and we thank you so much for taking a couple minutes of your time to join us as the schedule is now released for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Christmas in May. We now know what we're going to be doing with our Sundays week to week beginning in September. This is great for me because we're going to open up the season with the Carolina Panthers. I'll go through the entire schedule with you. Week 1, we open up with Carolina. We'll be at home for that one. I think that's a great opportunity for the Jacksonville Jaguars to start the season off right. I believe with all the questions in which we're going to have, of course, you're going to have your 3 preseason games. The preseason games go as follows: the Steelers, the Saints, and the Dolphins. And I understand that that may not mean much to a lot of us because it's preseason games. But understand, we do need to see how this offense is going to look. And I am interested to see what Liam Cohen's going to do, especially in that first preseason game. Do you play your guys at half? Do you only play them one quarter? Do you play them a series? Just how hard do you want to push that first unit in a brand new offense to get ready for week 1 against Carolina? You'll then be going on the road to face the Cincinnati Bengals. Follow that up where you're going back home to face the Houston Texans. In week 3, you'll go back on the road to San Francisco. Week 4. Now, week 5, 6, and 7. Got the Kansas City Chiefs, Monday Night Football. Kind of weird, however, right? Because you had a guy such as Evan Ingram say, we're going to see these guys again. No Evan Ingram now. However, you do have a lot of guys that were there from that time in which he said it. Does the team believe that they do have enough to look at Kansas City right in the face and deliver a couple of blows? You'll also have the Seahawks, winnable game. You'll go to London, face the LA Rams, as we've seen a couple of days prior. Then you have your bye. I think you're having the bye at the right time after week 8. You're then facing Vegas and Houston on the road. Then you have the Chargers, the Cardinals, and the Titans. Your last 6 games, you're going to face the Titans twice, and you're going to face the Colts twice. So go Titans, Colts, Jets, on the road against the Broncos, on the road against the Colts. Then you'll be at home to finish the year out against the Tennessee Titans. Immediately, the first game that I look at that I'm going to be very interested to see is that week 3 game against the Houston Texans, because we have talked ad nauseum about how we feel the Houston Texans have taken a step back from a year prior, where it felt like this is probably going to be their division for the next 3 or 4 years. Look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a great 2022. They've now regressed. You now take out the old regime. You're bringing in the new regime, right? So it's now a battle of who wants to take that first step. Because in my opinion, this is really a 2-team race in the division. And honestly, I think that maybe 9 wins, maybe 10, win you the entire division. This is not an easy schedule, although the Jacksonville Jaguars have been looked at schedule-wise, having the 23rd toughest schedule in all the NFL. you're going to be facing a lot of quarterbacks in this schedule this year, in my opinion. When you look at Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, Geno Smith, who just got paid, Matt Stafford, and I would like to believe that many people are going to look at the LA Rams as right in the mix of getting back to the Super Bowl or being one of those teams that can get right back to the Super Bowl. Cam Ward, I feel, is going to have a lot of eyes on him as the number one pick. Bo Nix, can he make the jump from year one to year two? And also Justin Herbert. We heard guys such as Coach Harbaugh say, listen, I'm trying to get this guy to the Hall of Fame. I'm trying to get him a gold jacket. So as much as we like to talk about a guy in Trevor Lawrence that needs to prove it, needs to show it, and a guy such as Liam Cohen is saying we're going to build this whole operation around him, and we believe that he's going to be the quarterback to get us over the hump, and we are very excited about the future as with him as our franchise quarterback. We also got a guy in Justin Herbert as well whose coach believes that he can be that guy, and he's going to do everything he can for him to be that guy. But that Houston Texans Week 3 game, that's going to be the game I feel that's really going to set the tone for the regular season, because it being a division rival, because you're looking at two teams that regressed a season ago, the Jaguars a couple of seasons ago. Who's a team that's saying they're ready to take the reins and claim this division this year? Because I think everyone else, we're going to be overlooking that of the Indianapolis Colts as well as the Tennessee Titans. But let me know, 641-1010, what you guys think about the schedule early on. I'll say it again for those who are just joining us. You're going to have the season opener against the Carolina Panthers. You'll face the Cincinnati Bengals on the road in Week 2. Then you come back home to face the Houston Texans. San Francisco back on the road. And Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs. Prime time. And it's been tough for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A few of these prime time games they've had in the past. And you have an opportunity now to face a team that has been an absolute dynasty. That's the team in which you're trying to get to at this point. I think that's going to be a game where you're going to see, honestly, where you are as a team. Not in terms of how the season shapes out, just how far away are you from a team like the Kansas City Chiefs. You then are at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Then you travel to London. Only one London game this year. How about that? Against the LA Rams. I feel like that's going to be an emotional game for Liam. That's the game that makes me the most nervous. Will it be an emotional game for Liam? He looks up highly to Sean McVay. You've basically made the Jacksonville Jaguars Rams East or Rams South, however you want to call it. This is Sasuke versus Itachi. I'm trying to chase Big Bro. Is Itachi, and Itachi being Sean McVay in this instance, is he going to say, man, listen, not ready yet. Keep chasing me, but you're not ready yet. You'll then go to Vegas, November 2nd. Then you're at the Texans again. I think you split the two games with the Texans. I think you split. I think the Texans figure it out at some point this season. You're then at home against the Chargers. You go back on the road to face the Arizona Cardinals. You're on the road against Tennessee, Indianapolis, and the New York Jets at home. Then you got a back-to-back week road trip against Against the Broncos and the Colts, you'll finish out the season with the Tennessee Titans. First glance for you, Denmark. What do you think about this schedule now that it is officially released for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Not too bad. You get the bye after you go to London. One primetime game. I thought they might have squeezed two. I'm surprised that they didn't put Tennessee on Thursday night with the number 1 pick and the number 2 pick.
Right.
And the one thing that sticks out to me, the month of December and really November 30th on, week 13 and week 18, you play the Titans twice and the Colts twice. You play the Titans week 13, week 18. You play the Colts week 14, week 17. That's my biggest takeaways for them. There is a lot of going on the road. I'm surprised they didn't have 2 of the West Coast games back to back. They go to Vegas and then to Houston back to back. They go to Arizona a couple weeks later, week 12, and they go to Tennessee the following week. And then they go week 16, week 17 to Denver, to Indy. So it's almost like you have a West Coast trip, and then you come back home, and then you play a division game right after. So that's my biggest takeaways. Just taking a quick glance at it. You got to start 2-2 in September. You can't have a slow start because, like many people have said on these airwaves that work here at the radio station, you can't have a slow start because if you have a slow start like you did last year, it's going to be hard to find a momentum once you get the season going because you're playing a lot of good teams and you've got to have that quick start. So 2-2, you look at hopefully Carolina's week 1's a nice win, and then I'm looking at Cincy or Houston, and hopefully you can start 2-2.
Absolutely. I mean, you definitely have winnable games your first 4. Now, in your first 5, this is what scares me. Are we going to be saying Carolina, Cincinnati, Houston, San Francisco, Kansas City? Are we asking now at this point to at least go 2-3 before you face the Seattle Seahawks here? That's going to be the big question for me. Or can you steal a game? I think the game you can steal is on the West Coast against San Francisco. Now, I understand that they're a team that has Brock Purdy. You also have Christian McCaffrey. You have the weapons there. But don't they feel like a team that's just kind of on the ropes? They're kind of reeling just a little bit since last year. Just a tad, just a smidge. Just a smidge. They've been together for a while. The Jaguars, they haven't been the best team on the West Coast. But if there is a game that you could steal to become 3-2, I'm going to be looking at that San Francisco game. That's a 4:05 game. I think going into hostile territory, however, against the Bengals, that's going to be hard. That's going to be the tough one. But you have to win your divisional games. I understand that people say that as a cliche, but that's going to be the most important thing that we are going to have to see in which you do, especially against a team like the Houston Texans who are looking to bounce back themselves. So 641-1010, if you guys are looking at the schedule, we'll go through it one more time when we come back from the break. And Dylan and I are going to give our early win-loss prediction for the Jacksonville Jaguars as their 2025 schedule is now released officially, with Ashton Hall in the picture. Pretty funny, Jacksonville Jaguars. Pretty funny. Quite the game, Professor Falcon, if you can name that movie. We'll be right back. It's 1010XL and 92.5 FM. This is Open Gym.
Let's take a look inside 1010XL.
Who wants the Grand Tour?
That would be terrific. That would be great.
We have the drill in the morning.
Very amusing.
Jaguars Today from 10 to noon.
Good.
Helmets and heels until 2.
Yes.
XL Prime Time and the Franchi Show afternoons.
This is great.
Then Baloo and Hacker take you into the night.
All in one location.
1010XL.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Bueller.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Jason, I don't see how a new air conditioner is going to work out for me.
Well, you like air conditioning, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. But a new air conditioner could be expensive.
Well, not if you...
I mean, to save up the money, I probably have to give up my extra hot skim latte every morning. Now I fall asleep during a staff meeting, get volunteered for the summer picnic committee, and end up sitting in the dunk tank all afternoon getting water up my nose.
Okay, look at it this way. Put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing puts in a new AC. We hook you up with affordable financing, and you stay cool and comfortable for just $149 a month. Cool?
Cool. I see it now.
Life can be hard on your budget. If you suffer through the heat because of a broken AC you could totally afford to replace, you could visit.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
Or you could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Hi, folks. It's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's Glass. Those beautiful custom glass shower enclosures, maybe a new mirror, a glass tabletop. They can even replace your foggy or cracked glass without having to replace the whole window. Lee and Kate's is local. They're family-owned. They've been a part of our community since 1926. Boy, they've taken care of me, including our brand-new offices at Walk-Off Charities. They did a great job. I promise they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
It's the blog players put their pads on for.
So we got to bring my thoughts and observations on our home team. That's what I share with you every week on my blog.
Roland Reach Plumbing brings you Hayes Blog on 1010XL.com.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
Frank Frangie here. I was talking to a buddy the other day. His HOA told him his old fence had to go. I said, man, call Coil Fencing. They've been around the block since 1927. Heck, they probably built half the fences in Jacksonville. They do it all. Tough chain link for security. Those fancy aluminum ones the HOA actually likes. Nearly a century of keeping yards safe and looking good. If you need a fence, call Coil. You can trust the folks at Coil. 904-356-4821 or visit CoilJacks.com. COYLE Jacks.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Filling in for Rick Ballou on a Wednesday. Hacker After Dark was with you from 6 to 8. RJ Saunders here with you. It is Open Gym. Glad you guys are with us. The schedule is now out. We'll do one more quick run through before we give our predictions to the schedule. You're opening week 1 at home against the Carolina Panthers. You're then on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. Come back home to face the Houston Texans. Then go back on the road against the San Francisco 49ers. Dylan Denmark says they at least have to go 2-2 in their first 4. I'm hoping that you can at least go 3-2 in your first 5, which your 5th game is going to be a Monday night game against Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 6, you'll go against the Seattle Seahawks. Week 7, we are going over the water to the LA Rams. Itachi versus Sasuke. That's what I'm going to call this. Big bro against little bro. I have Sean McVay against Liam Cohen. Following that, you're going to have your bye week. You'll then come back and you'll be facing the Las Vegas Raiders on the road. You have back-to-back road games. After you face the Las Vegas Raiders, you're going to go to Texas and face the Texans. Then go toe-to-toe against the team who will forever be a meme around these parts because of the big comeback affair against the LA Chargers. Then hit the road again, back-to-back games against the Arizona Cardinals as well as the Tennessee Titans. At home against the Indianapolis Colts and the New York Jets. Back on the road but against the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts again before you finish out your season against the Tennessee Titans. Well, let's kind of break this down and give you guys our predictions as to what we think is going to happen this season with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Me and Dylan Denmark are going to give our early predictions before you hear everyone else here on the Superstation give theirs. That's why we love having a show like this. We get to do it first. Ha! Week 1, I am going to say that the Jacksonville Jaguars start off great with a much needed victory after the sour taste in their mouth that they had from last season. The Jacksonville Jaguars are 1-0. Defeating the Carolina Panthers. How do you see it, Dylan Denmark?
Same. Win. They're the better team at home.
Week 2, you're going into hostile territory. I understand that many probably believe that the Cincinnati Bengals have no defense, but you do have a lot of weapons on that offensive side of the football. So 1-1 for the Jacksonville Jaguars after 2 weeks. Denmark, how you see it?
Yeah, I got the same 1-1. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Hopefully Trey Hendrickson is still in a contract dispute or maybe not even on the team at that point. But I see 1-1.
It's a big game against the Houston Texans. It's going to be a home game against the Texans. This is going to be a serious one for us to look at as Jaguar fans, just due to the fact that this is probably a two-man race within the division. 2-1. I have for the Jacksonville Jaguars as they get a big win at home against the Houston Texans.
Yeah, I see this as a loss. If you look at Houston, they have a tough schedule to start. They go to L.A. They play the L.A. Rams week 1, and they play Tampa week 2. Tough back-to-back stretch. I think they're going to have to win this game. I think Houston wins this game week 3. So I have them at 1-2.
Got them at 2-1. Now, I think you need to steal one in your first 5, and I think the stealable one is against the San Francisco 49ers. I just feel like they're a team that's reeling. Dare I say, if I'm being a Jacksonville Jaguar homer here, are the Jacksonville Jaguars going to be 3-1? That's what I'm going to give them after 4 weeks of action. Dylan Denmark, how do you see it?
I'll lean a loss. I think San Francisco has so many question marks. You have no idea what kind of team they're going to put out there.
Right.
I think first West Coast trip, first time playing at 4 o'clock. I'll just say it's a loss.
It's a loss for Dylan Denmark. Then you have the Monday night football game. I understand that it is at home. However, the Kansas City Chiefs, just too battle-tested. Jacksonville Jaguars are going to be coming back down to earth after a much-needed victory against the San Francisco 49ers. So after 5 weeks, I have the Jacksonville Jaguars going 3-2.
Okay, so Kansas City Monday night, I think Mahomes, I think they win this game.
That Jacksonville wins this game?
No, Mahomes, Kansas City wins this game. My bad.
Kansas City will definitely win the game going.
Yeah, so I have them starting 1-4.
Woo!
Not hot.
Not hot. And would you love that if you're a Jacksonville Jaguar fan? A 1-4 start. Oh, stop the presses. Grab your torch and pitchforks. Right? I'm coming, Elizabeth. 1-4 for the Jacksonville Jaguars, says one Dylan Denmark. It's a winnable game against the Seattle Seahawks. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-2 after 6 weeks. Dylan Denmark.
I think the Jags, they get Seattle. So 2 wins through 6 weeks. So I have them at 2-4.
2-4
before they go to London.
Before you go to London, and that's going to be the game where I feel like big bro just tells little bro, listen, congratulations on getting the new job, but you're not ready for this ride yet. We have a lot of bigger fish to fry if you are the LA Rams. So unfortunately, a loss for the Jacksonville Jaguars at 4-3.
Yeah, Rams won the division last year. I think the Rams win the division again this year. If I had to put a $100 bill on a division winner for the NFC West, and I think the Jags have 2 wins going into the bye week.
Now, what's going to be an interesting game? I honestly feel like it's a toss-up, just a smidge. As you go into Las Vegas and you face the Las Vegas Raiders on the West Coast, I'm going to say that the Jacksonville Jaguars win that game. They go 5-3 after 8 weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to go week 8's the bye. Coming back, you play Vegas. I think the Jags beat the Raiders. The Raiders aren't that good.
They are not that good. I think you're going to split against the Houston Texans. It's going to be a tough one on the road. And Dylan Denmark told me during the commercial break, I mean, the Texans do have a tough schedule to start out. So I think they're going to want to get one back against the Jacksonville Jaguars in the second half of the year. 5-4 for me for this year's Jacksonville Jaguar Ball Club.
Yeah, I think the Jags split with Houston as well, and I had them losing the first matchup at home. I think the Jags went on the road week 10, so I have them winning 1, 2. This is their 4th win. So I have them at 4-5 through 10 weeks.
I got them at 5-4. You are now facing the LA Chargers. Coach Harbaugh saying that he feels he can get Justin Herbert a gold jacket, but does the ghost of Jacksonville Jaguar past catch up with the LA Chargers? I'm going to say that it does. 6-4, your record for this year's Jacksonville Jaguar team after 12 weeks.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are going to be a team in the playoffs in the AFC. You're coming up on Thanksgiving. That's when usually teams start to turn the corner. I think the Chargers get this victory over Jacksonville. I will say, though, West Coast teams coming to the East Coast at 1 o'clock is usually not that good for West Coast teams.
Absolutely.
Now, I still think the Chargers win that game.
So now you have the Arizona Cardinals. I really feel like that's still a very young team. Can we put heads or tails on Kyler Murray yet? Can we make heads or tails of him? I say that we can't. Not yet. 7-4, Jacksonville Jaguars.
All right, I got them beating Arizona, so I have them 3, 4, 5 wins through 12 weeks. And then you head to Tennessee.
You got the Titans next. And you're in hostile territory. Now, how much will Tennessee fans and the NFL at large believe in the number 1 overall pick going into Week 13? This is a game where I feel like Trevor Lawrence has to show that he is the quarterback in the division. This is crazy for me. I'm saying 8-4 are your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, I think they beat the Titans. Titans aren't that good, and who knows if that offensive line, how they hold up again for Cam Ward, if he's beat up by this point. I think it's pretty easy. Jags over Titans.
Now, this is going to be the game because Jacksonville, they're going to be Jacksonville sometimes, and I think they're going to have a dud of a game. I think the dud is probably going to come against the Indianapolis Colts. You're at home. You're riding high. 8-5 is my record as they take a loss to the Indianapolis Colts.
Colts coming to Jacksonville is always a loss. At least it has been since, I don't know, as far as I can remember. Right. I mean, I graduated high school 2016. I think they haven't beaten them since 2013, if I'm not mistaken. I think the Jags win at home. So I have them on a 3-game win streak going into play
now you're playing the Jets. Now that's going to be an interesting because now you have a new head coach there. Going to have a quarterback in Justin Fields. Like, do we know who he is yet? You know what? I'll give Jacksonville a win. 9-5. 9-5 are my Jacksonville Jaguars.
There's always a game where every team has this where you feel like you're the favorite and you come away thinking, how do we lose this game? I think that's this game.
Right.
Week 15.
Yeah.
I think the Jets win out somehow, some way.
Now, that game for me is going to absolutely be week 16. I think Sean Payton's going to have the team going in the right direction. I think that's going to also be a payback game for a former Jacksonville Jaguar that's now playing with the Denver Broncos. So 9-6 I'm going to have for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, Denver's I think is going to be pretty good. Bo Nix, everybody was kind of skeptical of him last year. Sean Payton looks like they have his guy. I think Denver at Denver is going to win and beat Jacksonville.
At the Colts. I don't want to say that you're slipping. However, I think that the Colts are certainly going to want to get 2 in a row. However, I say that they don't. This is crazy. Am I saying that the Jags are a 10-win team this year? The over-under is 7. But I'm
7.5.
7.5. I'll say they get 10 wins this year, and they defeat the Indianapolis Colts in hostile territory.
Yeah, Colts. I think the Colts win at home.
Okay.
So I think they split Indy and they split Houston in division.
And your final game is against the Tennessee Titans. I don't see this Jaguar team as an 11-win team this season. I mean, if so, give Liam Cohen Coach of the Year 1, in my opinion, if you can make this team an 11-win team. So 10-7 is going to be my final tally for this year's Jacksonville Jaguar team.
Yeah, I think this is one of those weird things where you wonder what the Titans' motivation is going to be, because I think everybody believes that the Titans aren't going to be a good team. So is Brian Callahan going to be a coach that has this team motivated, ready to go? You know, he might be fired at this point.
Right.
I think the Jags beat the Titans, and I think I had them at about 8 wins, 7.5. If I had to bet the 7.5, I'd still bet the under, but you look at it game by game, I have them winning 8, but if I had to put a $100 bill, I'd still say under 7.5.
Duval TV says, I'm not trying to bust on your guys' predictions. Everybody has their opinion, but I think we sweep the Colts again. I think it is doable. I don't really believe in the Indianapolis Colts this season going into this year. I think you have quarterback controversy with that of Daniel Jones as well as Mr. Richardson, but I think that you're going to be splitting these 2 games against your divisional rivals. I think every game's going to be a split, but those are going to be the most critical games in which you're going to have if you are the Jacksonville Jaguars. But right now I have them as a 10-win team. Dylan Denmark has them as an 8-win team. Whose prediction are you kind of rolling with more as of right now, as we look at first glance of the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule, as it now has been made official? 641-1010 on the text line. That's how you can get on the program. Let's talk more about this schedule and the Jacksonville Jaguars as a whole, and how one Jamal St. Cyr looks at this schedule and looks at the team going into the 2025 season. That comes up next. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
If you need a game plan for the weekend, I'll tell you my takes for some of the weekend's best options. 1010XL's Dan Hicken here. Watch for Musings with the Media Mogul on YouTube and Facebook. Turned on by Tucker Equipment Rentals in Neptune Beach.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Looking for a fun-filled evening the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football. A fast-paced, action-packed sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks this Saturday, May 17th. Kickoff at 7. Ask about family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card. All for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700. 621-0700.
Prosser here, looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy. Our Jacksonville Sharks are back in town this Saturday. Discover the thrill of indoor football. Fast-paced, action-packed sport where excitement meets family fun. This Saturday, May 17th, kickoff 7 o'clock. Ask about our family four-packs. 4 tickets, 4 $10 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card. All for only $100. For ticketing, go to jackssharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks!
Don't be sidelined from an injury that keeps you out of the game. Get the care the pros receive. Now available at Injury Care Centers, newly FDA regenerative treatments that will significantly shorten your recovery time. Sprains, strains, fractures, post-op surgeries, cut your recovery time in half or shorter. Masking pain just makes it worse. Fix it now. Call 904-783-0008. That's 904-783-0008. Injury care starts at Injury Care Centers.
It's more than a game.
No matter how talented you are, it still comes down to that brotherhood of playing for one another.
1010XL. It's why we play.
4 guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
Leon Cersei here. Let's be real. I used to eat like a lineman because I was one. And man, those habits are hard to break. I needed help to stop with the munchies and lose weight. But now, I'm bringing sexy back. I call Physician Guided Weight Loss. Their medical team is helping me shed pounds safely with a custom plan to help me slim down. And their firm pricing means same price every month. Hey, you want to bring sexy back? Visit Physician Guided Weight Loss at pgweightloss.com.
St. Johns County parents, does your kid have energy to burn? Want them to play a sport for their middle school? Sign up today for the St. John's Middle School Athletic Association. Tackle football, dance, and cheerleading. Who doesn't want their kid to be the next NFL quarterback or dance floor diva? You know how fast your kid can go from playing Xbox to practicing their touchdown dance or sideline cheer? Visit sjmsaa.org. sjmsaa.org.
How many different denominations of paper money are currently being used?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
There are 7 denominations of U.S. currency: the 1, 2, 5, 10, 20, 50, and $100 bills.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
As a Florida homeowner, you're no stranger to mosquito problems. And although it's tempting to use DIY methods to get rid of them, mosquitoes are relentless. That's why it's important to enlist the help of the mosquito experts at Florida Pest Control. At Florida Pest Control, we offer specialized treatment solutions that are effective against mosquito infestations and are committed to keeping our customers protected year-round. For your free quote, give us a call or visit flapest.com today. Florida Pest Control, your local mosquito control experts.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
In for Rick Ballou, RJ Saunders here with you. I understand we're talking about the schedule. However, we do have a Game 5 here going on in Boston. The Celtics currently leading the New York Knicks by a score 70-67, 8:57 left to go in the third quarter. Our next guest is the sports anchor for News for Jax. You've heard him on many programs as well throughout our airwaves here at the Superstation, and he joins us now as the schedule is out, and we know who the Jaguars are playing and when. He's Jamal St. Cyr. Make sure to give him a follow on Twitter at JSt.Cyr.TV. Jamal, man, how are you?
What's going on, RJ? Appreciate you having me on, bro.
Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure having you on. So, looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule as it is now official, what are your initial thoughts on the schedule, and what stands out to you most as we get our first glances at this new schedule?
It's nice that you open up at home and you finish at home, but like if you look at it, that opening stretch of the season before the bye week, man, that's a gauntlet. That's probably the toughest bit. But I mean, that's good and bad, right? You might get out to a little bit of a slower start to the schedule or to the season, but after the bye, if you can get hot and catch some fire, you got some very winnable games down the stretch to where you can really close in and possibly, make a push for a postseason spot or to win the division. So there's the good and bad of that. Like this team just is going to have to manage that early slate where if they can get to the bye week within a game or two of 500, they're probably feeling pretty good.
Now, is there a game that stands out to you more than the others in terms of intrigue? I talked about it at the top of the show. I really feel like that week 3 game at home against the Houston Texans is going to be big because I'm looking at this and saying it may be a 2-team race to win the AFC South. And I really feel like you have to make a statement early to the Texans, who I feel they're going to be trying to get back on top of things after they had a regression themselves last season. But what game stands out to you in terms of intriguing that you want to see from the Jags this season?
Yeah, I mean, the AFC South matchups are going to be big. I think the one that I'll keep an eye on is week 2, honestly, that Cincinnati game.
Okay.
The Bengals historically, or at least in recent history, have started seasons kind of slow out of the gates. Can the Jaguars kind of jump on them and hand them a loss early in the year and kind of get things rolling there? And the Bengals are one of the teams that are perennially in that playoff race in the AFC. High-powered offense. This is going to be a test for this Campanelli defense. Can the Jaguars offense keep up with what Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and company can put on the scoreboard? So I think there's a lot of layers to that game. So that's one that I think there's at least a little bit of intrigue just to see. I guess coaches hate to talk about like ruler games, measuring stick kind of games, but to me, that's kind of an early season like measuring stick. How do you hold up against this team that a lot of people always have high expectations for?
Continue our conversation with Jamal St. Cyr of News for Jax. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at JSt.Cyr.TV. Now, how many games do you feel, in your opinion, wins the AFC South this year?
I think 10. I think if you can get to 10, you'll win it. I think the Texans have improved in some places, but they've also, not improved along the offensive line, which was already a question mark and kind of derailed their season a year ago. So I think that team's solid, but I don't see them as a team that's ready to take that big jump up into the stratosphere of winning 12, 13 games. So I think it's a race to 10. If you can get to 10, I think you got it.
How many games do you think the Jacksonville Jaguars win?
I actually just sat down and did this here at Channel 4, and I got them at 10, honestly.
Yes!
I think I got them at 10. I'm a big believer in that first-year head coach juice, RJ. Like, you look around the league, these first-year coaches, when teams really don't know what they want to do, that's always good for an extra win or two, man.
Right.
So I think that'll be enough for them to get there. You split with the Texans. You win a couple of those, kind of gimme games, and you get lucky in maybe one along the way, and next thing you know, you got 10 wins and you got a postseason game.
I have them at 10 wins, too. I thought I was going to be crazy here, probably being the only person in the 904 with the Jacksonville Jaguars at 10 wins as we continue our conversation with Jamal St. Cyr right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So when we look at this team, and you look at that rookie class, and Travis Hunter, I understand, is the darling of all of it, but I believe when you look at guys such as Bashal Tutin or maybe Wyatt Milam, I feel like those are going to be two guys that have a chance to make an immediate impact on the squad. For you, who are a couple of players from this rookie class that you feel will make an impact on the Jags year one?
Look, I think their first 3 draft picks are all day one starters. I think Travis Hunter is a day one starter. I think Caleb Ransaw is a day one starter. I think Wyatt Milam ends up being a day one starter. I don't think that I have to sell you too hard on that. I think the rest of these guys are going to have a role. Like Rayon Lane's a guy who I think he's going to impact games. I think he's going to play a lot of special teams for him. And, sometimes those special teams, it's not the heralded position that fans love, but it's the difference between you winning and losing football games sometimes. So I think this rookie class is going to pay dividends. It has to pay it early. I know everybody's talking about Bashaw Tootin as a guy who is going to infiltrate that running back room, but I think LaQuint Allen is the guy, that 7th-round pick, man. He was one of the best pass-blocking running backs in the league or in college football last year, and he can catch passes out of the backfield too. If you watched Jaguars football last year and you saw Dearness Johnson keep getting on the field in known passing situations, it was because he was a solid pass blocker. So that opens the door. Dearness is gone. LaQuint Allen brings a skill set that he's probably day one of the better probably the best passing blocking back on the Jaguars roster right now. I think he's going to have a role. I think he's a guy who plays more snaps than maybe people are anticipating this year.
Fran Brown also speaking highly of LaQuint Allen. Understand that he played for Fran, but however, he does think that this is going to be a guy that's going to make an immediate impact year one. So let's talk about the darling of this year's NFL draft class in Travis Hunter. I mean, big, booming personality. I've tried to relate it more to as how Shaq, when he came in the league in 92, I mean, already when you saw him at the rookie minicamp, he's getting treated like the mayor out here. I mean, this guy can't walk 2 steps without being cheered for. I know that he wants to play both sides, and the team has said that he will do so. But in terms of an offense-defense ratio, I understand that everything has to be in moderation, and parts of me does believe that Liam Cohen, if he does have his choice, is going to want him to play more on the offensive side of the ball than he is in the defensive side of the ball, although they're going to make some packages to where Travis Hunter is going to be able to play a tad bit of defense. Everything in moderation, but for you, how do you see it with Travis Hunter year one, offense to defense, in terms of that ratio?
I think he plays somewhere around 85 to 90% of the snaps on offense. And defensively, I'm thinking somewhere around 60 to 70%. I think he's playing a lot both ways. I really do. I know everybody's like leaning toward the offensive split. I think he'll play more on offense than he does on defense. But, I mean, packaging in a corner, it's not like you're packaging in like some linebacker or this pass rusher. I mean, he's a corner. If they feel like he's one of their better cover guys, you kind of got to put him out there on the field. So, I think he's going to play a lot of football. I think he's going to play a lot on defense right now. I just think that's where I'm leaning at. I think that's what it is. And they said he's going to start practicing defense this week, and it's going to be interesting to see how he handles it because this is something the NFL has never seen before. But I think he's going to play a lot of football, man.
Do you think he can do it? Now, I understand that many people were asking that when he was in college, but, I mean, you've been watching the NFL for a long time as well as covering it. I mean, this is a much different game than the college game. Do you think he'll be able to have the capacity to do it as much as he wants to? I mean, I know that he said during the NFL draft, listen, hey, whatever team gets me is going to have to figure it out because I want to play both sides. But do you feel that he has enough to be able to do it for a full season in the NFL?
I mean, I don't think he can do it for 10 years, but these early years in his career, I think he can probably hang in there. Okay. I mean, when I asked a former NFL player about it, they said, hey, if you think about it, at wide receiver, there's a lot of plays where he doesn't see the football and he's just running a route, and it's about cardio. And the same thing at corner, if he does his job and the ball doesn't come his way, all it was necessarily him being able to run in that cardio. And he has an insane amount of cardio and stamina, and they seem to feel pretty good about those odds of being able to put him out there and do that. So I don't know. Okay. You look at him and he's not the biggest guy in the world. Right. But he was able to do it in college when nobody thought he was going to be able to do it. Right. They're at least going to give him a shot at doing it in the pros when I think the prevailing thought is like, this is an insane idea. So I think we'll see how it works out. Right. I honestly don't know if he can stay healthy. He's never had like crazy injury problems before, but the NFL is a different ball game. Right. And I think they're at least going to give him a shot, man. Yes. And I think that's the fun part is we'll at least get to watch this thing and see how it works.
Final couple of moments with Jamal St. Cyr of News for Jags joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So as a guy who's been covering the NFL as well as the Jacksonville Jaguars for a long time, I asked J.P. Shadrick about this, about just what is the feeling like going into the building, being able to interview the players with this new regime? Does it feel different, kind of in a positive way? I understand we saw, individuals such as Doug Peterson here, and I'm sure there was a lot of excitement when we saw Urban Meyer first come into town. But it feels to me, and I haven't been able to go, inside of that building or be able to interview any of the players or really get the feeling of being on that field, even with rookie minicamp. But does it feel different to you that, this is a team that really feels like they have a chance to win this division year one?
I mean, look, I'm always cautious with vibes during the off season. It's real easy to, every coach is positive, every player is extremely positive during the off season. You haven't lost a game, you haven't played a game. Ask me if it feels different in week 2.
Okay.
If they're sitting there at 1-1 or 0-2, and then I'll be able to give you a better answer. I mean, Doug Peterson was great, during the offseason when they hadn't played a game.
Right.
Urban Meyer, Urban was a different ballgame. But, look, most coaches and players, every team loves their chances. They're not in a rebuild. They're going to win the division, and they're going to make a push for it.
Right.
I mean, this is optimism season. Everybody feels great right now.
Right.
So maybe once we get through training camp and reality starts to set in, if we can get to a couple weeks through training camp, and that's when teams start to kind of come to the realization like, maybe we aren't as good or maybe we're better than we expected, then ask me that question again, and I'll be able to give you a little bit of a better answer.
Before we let you go, just want to ask you about a couple of franchise cornerstones. We'll start with Brian Thomas Jr. I understand we've been talking about Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter as well. What are your expectations for Brian Thomas Jr. going into yet another season with the Jacksonville Jaguars? Do you feel he'll be able to repeat what he did last season?
Look, I think BT is going to have better numbers. I think he's going to be able to kind of take another step forward. This offense is going to put him in a few more user-friendly positions than he was a year ago. The only thing that is down the stretch, he was really force-fed the football, so he'll have to share some of those targets along the way with guys like Travis Hunter. But I think BT is going to have a big year. I think Pro Bowl is obviously expectation since he did it as a rookie, and we'll see just how far he can take this thing. But I think by the end of this season, we should be talking about him as cementing himself in that upper tier of wide receivers in the league because he is talented, and this Liam Cohen offense is going to kind of let him play to his strengths a little bit.
How critical of a year is this for Trevor Lawrence?
Huge. I mean, it's huge. Another coach, another offensive playbook. I don't think this is make or break, but by the end of the season, you at least need to see that he the light was coming on. We've seen for Trevor, we've seen it a lot. You see the light flicker. It's like a light switch, and it's flipping, and you see it, and you're like, see, that's what we saw. That's the light right there.
Right.
And then there's other times where it's the end of the Eagles game, and it's you're in a position where you could just throw it out of bounds, and he instead throws an interception. You're like, oh, my God, what are we doing?
Right.
I think by the end of the season, obviously there are always growing pains in a new offense with a new coaching staff, a lot of players around him. But by the end of the season, you got to at least feel like there's a glimmer of consistency for that light staying on with the guy. Not because you're getting ready to jump off ship, but at some point it's going to become the book on him because we've called him a young quarterback for a long time, but at this point he's played a lot of football.
Now, final one before I let you go. Is there a guy on this Jaguar roster that you feel needs to make a leap going into this year if the Jags are going to be successful and be a 10-win team this season?
You got to get Josh Hines-Allen back to where he was 2 years ago. I mean, he's got to get back there. I mean, he was impactful, but you need him to get back there. And if you're going to do it, you need Eric Armstead to get back to what he was in San Francisco and not the guy we saw last year.
Okay.
I mean, Walter Payton Man of the Year is great, but the football product for Eric wasn't up to what the expectation is for that guy. So, I mean, I think I kind of gave you two guys, but in order for Josh to get to where he needs to be, he needs some defense, some pass rush from the interior, which means you need Eric to get back to where he needs to be.
He is Jamal St. Cyr of News for Jags. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at JSt.Cyr.TV, breaking it down with us as the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule is now official. Jamal, thank you so much for doing this, man, and hopefully you can do this again sometime down the road.
All right, see you, RJ. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. There he goes. Jamal St. Cyr has the Jacksonville Jaguars as a 10-win team this season. Yes! Love the positivity. Although he does say there's going to be growing pains on the early part of that season. I do have the Jacksonville Jaguars after 5 games being 3-2, but they could very well be 2-3. They could very well be 2-3. And as we heard Dylan Denmark even talk about when we were doing the schedule in our win and loss predictions, you don't know what team San Francisco is going to throw out at you. That's what kind of makes it scary. Because if they throw their best out at you, it's going to be a long, long day for a lot of us. But if it is that team that's on the ropes and they're reeling, and you have a couple of guys there that are your key guys that have been dealing with injuries the last couple of years, and you're able to take advantage of them, walk into their place, take over, I think that's going to be critical for you. I think Jacksonville can do that. Gonna have to go in there. You're gonna have to sit on their couch and dirty it up like Rich Gaines did, right? If you guys remember the Chappelle Show. 641-1010, the number. If you want to get in here on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures, you can also join us on one of our chat lines on our digital studios, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. When we come back, we were able to have a conversation with Mike Silver. He's going to talk about the schedule from a national perspective. Wasn't able to come on with us live because he was busy doing other things for The Athletic, but also get some national stories from him. Who does he think is the leader in the clubhouse to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season? Also, just a couple of moves around the NFL. Does he feel that they move any needles for any particular teams as they try to win their respective divisions? We speak next with Mike Silver right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Something big is coming, and 1010XL is about to reveal it. Join 1010XL all day Thursday for the big reveal. Delivered by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning, and Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental with light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
Some people call it X. What? Some still call it Twitter.
Okay, I got it.
Whatever you call it, it's the best place for up-to-the-minute Jags coverage from 1010XL. This is the flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Grow your hair back. IHRS offers the latest technology in hair transplants and restorative treatments.
Fast, easy, and effective.
With over 35 years experience, our team is committed to delivering exceptional results. Hair restoration is for us, and it can be for you too.
See how IHRS technology can grow your hair back. Go to hairforme.com or call 904-777-IHRS, 777-4477 for $250 off.
Join us at Miller Electric May 29th from 4 to 7 p.m. We're on the lookout for talented people, from entry-level to experienced electricians and foremen, security system installation and service technicians, fire alarm system service technicians, and both senior and junior VDV technicians. This is your chance to get hired on the spot. Meet the managers, indulge in delicious food, and snag some awesome giveaways. Don't miss out on this electrifying chance to power up your career. Miller Electric, May 29th, 4 to 7 p.m., 6805 South Point Parkway.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway for all your outdoor living needs. Let them show you how a durable paver driveway can enhance your home. Visit stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Hey everybody, Jennifer Marion with Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville here to say hello, and we'd sure like to have your business.
You know what? They're going to love the king of price.
My dad believes in making great deals and having a great selection in stock.
Cadillac XT4s, XT5s, and XT6s, and Escalades.
The all-electric Cadillac Lyriq.
CT4s and CT5s.
Cadillac luxury and selection is just waiting for you.
At Randy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent ya.
Has someone you care about been arrested or had their driver's license taken away? I'm Susan Cohen, and I work with David Robbins at the law firm of Epstein & Robbins. We are experienced fighters for those charged with DUI, domestic violence, and all criminal offenses. In your battle with the justice system, there's only one thing you need to know. Dial David 24/7 at Epstein & Robbins, 354-5645. 354-5645.
Need cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash, and they're ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. And gold market prices are at a record high. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacks Beach.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for Instant Keys locksmith service.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Welcome back to Open Gym on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. RJ Saunders here with you. Glad you guys are here with us. And our next guest is a Southern California native, which always does my heart proud. And he's also a national columnist for The Athletic, and he's here to break down all things NFL with us on the program. He is Mike Silver, and you can follow him on Twitter at Mike Silver. Mike, it's always a pleasure, man. How are you?
I'm good, man. Great to talk to you, RJ. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, you know, it's always a pleasure when I'm able to talk to you and you're able to break down the NFL and the great game that we all love. And, I mean, you got to help me out here as we begin our conversation, because I've asked listeners here in Jacksonville. I've also asked a plethora of guests, both locally and nationally, and there seems to be a split right down the middle when it comes to that of Trevor Lawrence. And I can understand both sides of the argument. And I've been a guy that has said that you need to give him time because this is his third different regime in as many years. And you know as well as I do that you can't do your best work for a job or a company when that job or company is trying to figure it out themselves or just has all-out dysfunction. So where do you stand on Trevor Lawrence and whether or not he has what it takes to be a top-tier quarterback in the National Football League?
Well, we're totally going to find out. And I would just say this, having spent a bunch of time in that building before and during the draft, you know, I would assure Jags fans that the powers that be don't have much internal debate. They think he's the guy. They're proceeding accordingly. So James Gladstone, Liam Cohen, Tony Baselli, Shad Khan, they're all in. And Shad Khan told me, you know, when it came to making the GM and coaching hire, the quarterback was everything. It was the only thing. So, you know, that gives me a little bit of confidence that it's going to work out well. And as you said, there's been dysfunction. Now, Doug Peterson has also done some really good things in this league, obviously won a Super Bowl with his backup quarterback, by the way. But, you know, it did turn rough there at the end. Right. So, yeah, you have a guy in Liam Cohen who, you know, he was with Will Levis in college at Kentucky. He was under Sean McVay in L.A. when they did some good things with Jared Goff and later Matthew Stafford. So I think the idea is we've got our quarterback. Now we need to start surrounding him with better infrastructure.
Before we get into the national schedule and what's already been confirmed in terms of games both overseas and nationally televised games that we'll all be able to enjoy, just wanted to get your opinion on what Charles Davis had to say on CBS Sports, because he has the Jacksonville Jaguars as a team that went from picking in the top 5 of this year's NFL draft to being a squad that can make the NFL playoffs this year. And I mean, from what you've seen being in the war room with the team during the NFL draft, they ultimately bring in Liam Liam Cohen, James Gladstone. They give a much-deserved promotion to that of Tony Baselli. We were also able to see what the squad was able to do in free agency. And on top of that, you're going to be having a healthy Trevor Lawrence coming into this season. Do you see this team as one that can go from picking in the top 5 just a couple of weeks ago to now making the NFL playoffs once we get to the regular season?
Well, it's good that way. You can make these abrupt turnarounds, and I think there is hope. They didn't have a splashy free agency period, but internally they got the guys they wanted. I think they got every player they targeted other than one who, before the legal tampering period started, re-signed with his current team. Everybody else they went and got. They felt really good about their draft, obviously, Travis Hunter being the centerpiece of that. And so, in their mind, they're going to be better, and they're excited about that. And I think if you look at that division, you would say on paper, the Texans obviously have something really good going with C.J. Stroud.
Right.
And have been the best team the last couple of years. But, the Titans are not anyone's idea of a contender on paper. And the Colts have really struggled. I think you're going to see Daniel Jones end up winning that quarterback job, and they think that can improve them there. But, I think there's certainly a viable scenario where the Jaguars are much improved, and with the way the NFL is, that could certainly result in a playoff run.
He's the national columnist for The Athletic. Mike Silver joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. So outside of the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are a couple of teams for you that you foresee making the jump this season?
Well, there's one kind of staring us in the face, and that's the 49ers, just because I saw their schedule was rated the least tough in the NFL. Right. And of course, we know who the teams are going to be before the actual schedule release. We know who's playing who.
Right.
And that kind of validates what I thought, just viscerally looking at it. So they've taken some hits. They definitely have lost some marquee players, but on paper, if you look at their road, it does not look quite as challenging as it has in the past. So they would be a team that I would look at on paper to be able to make a jump. As for the rest of it, I think it's going to be the usual thing with the NFL where it's interesting. A lot of teams think, they're going to be that one, but we really don't know, and that's what can be cool about the NFL. Another team I would throw at you is the Atlanta Falcons. I just have so much faith in Raheem Morris,
right.
And finally getting that second chance after all those years when he did some cool things as a young coach with the Buccaneers. They were close last year. Michael Penix has obviously got them really excited. They drafted a couple edge rushers. So I think Raheem Morris will get the Falcons back to the playoffs, and that'll be a really cool thing.
You talked about the San Francisco 49ers and their schedule. I mean, the NFL schedule is beginning to take shape, and we're just a few moments away from seeing the full schedule for all of these teams. But from the ones that we've already seen and that have been confirmed, whether that be overseas or the national primetime games, has there been a game that's interested you at all and has made you say, man, you know what? I'm going to have my popcorn ready for that one.
I'm kind of curious to see where Aaron Rodgers ends up. There's kind of this feeling that he'll end up signing with the Steelers, but until that actually happens, I don't know that we can confirm that. There's talk that the Steelers and Jets might be playing in week 1. Be really interesting there. The Steelers also play the Packers, and they play the Vikings in Dublin, I believe in late September. So the Vikings, obviously, as Diana Rossini and Alec Lewis and I reported in The Athletic, they were strongly considering making a move for Aaron Rodgers. For now, they've held off, and they're letting J.J. McCarthy be the guy. But that could have some added intrigue as well. So, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of fun games you look at when you see the opponents, and then I think when the schedule release comes out, it gets people excited again. But, remember, we've known who the matchups are going to be since basically January.
Right.
And it's just a matter of when. It is a good time to start booking flights and hotel rooms, though, if you're trying to go to these games. And so I know fans get fired up about that.
Continuing our conversation with Mike Silver right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. You speak about Aaron Rodgers and where he may call home this upcoming season. Is that the storyline that intrigues you the most, or is there another storyline out there that you want us fans to be able to highlight and focus on during the regular season?
No, I think there are a lot of great storylines. You know, obviously the way the last season ended, the Eagles just look so far ahead of everybody that, you know, you wonder how that's going to go. They were able to get Zach Bond back. They obviously paid Saquon as a reward for his awesomeness last year. And they did lose people, but, you know, you wonder if that's going to sustain the Chiefs, who have been so good during this run with Patrick Mahomes. Obviously did not love the way that Super Bowl transpired, but, you know, you figure they're going to be in that mix. The Bills and Ravens are kind of getting to that point where they have these incredible quarterbacks who have not yet won the big one, and they've been close. So, you know, you look at whether the Bills or Ravens have a run in them, or if, you know, if it doesn't go well, what that could mean in terms of dramatically retooling around them. So, you know, I think there's a lot of fun stuff going on. And then, of course, you have all these young quarterbacks who are so intriguing. I mentioned Michael Penix. He's just one of that group. And then J.J. McCarthy's really the wild card, missed his entire rookie season. Right. The Vikings right now showing faith in him with a team built to win now, even with an all-time great out there in Aaron Rodgers. So, you know, I wonder how J.J. McCarthy's going to do as he tries to ease into, you know, his NFL career.
I understand it is hard to repeat. You were talking about the Philadelphia Eagles at the top, and does it feel like it's still their championship to lose, that they should be looked at as the favorites to repeat, or is there a team or teams in the NFL that you think are going to be able to get in the way of that?
Well, certainly, you know, you look at the quarterbacks I just mentioned, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and obviously Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, potentially. Those guys are so good that you figure, you know, somebody's going to come out of the AFC, you know, with a quarterback who's so good that, you know, it could be pretty awesome. But, you know, every year is different and repeating is hard. I think it's one thing when a team wins the Super Bowl to look at them that next season and say, wow, they're in good, you know, they're in a really good spot. Yeah. But when the Super Bowl is that much of an emphatic statement, when a team plays at that level, you know, in its final game and really final two games, and makes a guy like Patrick Mahomes, who's won so many of the big games he's been in since joining the league, when they make him look like a guy who, you know, can't compete in that game, it's pretty striking. So, you know, I'm old. I remember the era of the Super Bowl blowout where it felt like that, you know, most years. And, you know, it kind of took me back to that. So because of my last impression of the 2024 season, yes, I look at the 2025 Eagles as the team to beat.
Now, you were in that war room with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you did an amazing piece on that experience. And it seems to me that, you know, a guy like James Gladstone meant what he said when he says that, you know, listen, I think this guy's going to change the entire fabric of how we look at football. And it seems like the rest of the National Football League is interested to see what this young man's going to be able to do for Jacksonville and the NFL game as a whole. Just kind of, what do you think the young man's going to be able to do in his first year coming into the NFL?
I'm so excited to watch, right? And, you know, I think he will go up and make big contested catches. We've seen that on both sides of the ball, right? But, you know, I look at him as a guy who's going to potentially open up that passing game. They obviously struck gold a year ago with Brian Thomas, who's such a good receiver. And normally you'd say, well, this guy's going to get a ton of extra attention his second year, and he'll get some, but he can't get as much as he otherwise would, because you don't want to leave someone as talented as Travis Hunter, you know, unattended as well. So, you know, I think that's going to be an incredible 1-2 punch. You know, I think about red zone and big plays, you know, for first downs where this guy can just go up and use those ball skills. And, defensively, I'm not sure how much they'll be able to work him in, but something tells me, guys who have a knack for being around the ball and getting the ball tend, even if he's just getting a little bit of run as a defender, I feel like, he'll catch a Hail Mary and save a game,
right,
or make a couple of, game-turning picks potentially. So I really think, there's a reason that everybody was salivating over this guy. It's not just the both ways novelty. He really does look like an NFL talent and a game changer, instant game changer.
Final moments with Mike Silver. He's the national columnist for The Athletic. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at Mike Silver. So I asked Mark Ross this question, but I wanted to get your opinion on the matter of Shedeur Sanders. I know there's a lot of guys that are pulling for him, but there's just as many that are pulling against him. But why do you think ultimately he fell in the NFL draft? And do you feel that he has a legitimate chance to become the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns in Week 1?
Well, I hope so. The kid has gone and transformed programs, twice in college. And I know there are plenty of NFL people who didn't think his tape was as good as advertised and found flaws. But I'm a fan. I mean, I covered Dion for many years and worked with him. I believe a lot in that upbringing for all the people who say, well, maybe he's been playing for his dad. Maybe he's somewhat entitled. I would say being raised by Dion in all ways, to me, should be a positive. And I know the kid has a lot of confidence, but that confidence has permeated into the huddles and locker rooms of the college teams he's played for. So, it frustrated me to see him drop the way he did, and to see, as a kid's dream was being crushed, a lot of people piling on.
Right.
I know that I'm excited that he may have a chance to compete in Cleveland. I hope he does. I know they also drafted Dylan Gabriel, but I think Shedeur Sanders, to me, is a guy who we're going to look back on and go, I can't believe that guy slid as far as he did, given his makeup and skill set.
Final one for you before we let you go. I mean, George Pickens traded to Dallas. I thought maybe the Steelers would keep him to pair with DK Metcalf, as well as presuming Aaron Rodgers was going to be suiting up for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but he's now a Dallas Cowboy. And does the addition of Pickens for Dallas help them in their quest to become division champions once again?
Well, that's a tall order, being in the Eagles and Commanders division right now. But I do think, on paper, it should help them a lot. It gives you another talented guy opposite CeeDee Lamb, gives new coach Brian Schottenheimer another explosive weapon in the passing game. Yeah, I would say this, though. Mike Tomlin, when he gives up on a receiver, when he finds that receiver to be too big of a pain in the butt,
right,
it doesn't usually go well afterwards. So let's hope, for the Cowboys' sake, they're getting a guy who, comes in with a more professional approach that I think we've seen so far. And he's a passionate guy, which I like. But, you look at the Antonio Browns or even Chase Claypool, and I could list a bunch of others who, once Mike Tomlin's like, okay, we've had enough, it hasn't gone great. So, I do tend to trust Mike Tomlin's sensibilities in these matters.
He is Mike Silver, national columnist for The Athletic. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike Silver, and he knows my undying love for him because we are Southern California kids. Mike, thank you so much, and hopefully we can do this again sometime down the road.
All right, I appreciate you, RJ, and have a great show.
There he goes, Mike Silver of The Athletic. Great insight from him as he was able to join us just a few hours before the schedule release for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Also knocked down a couple of national stories that I just wanted to inquire about, and hopefully you guys were able to take away a lot of good things as the NFL season gets closer and closer. When we do come back, there has been a journalist who was let go by ESPN, but was able during his time while he was away look at the sports world and sports landscape and journalism through the fans' eyes. What has he learned from it? How is he trying to change it? And can traditional journalism get back to the place of storytelling? We'll talk next with June Lee, who is now an independent storyteller and journalist right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
Take the straightaway at 200 miles an hour.
He's got him. Oh, there we go.
It's NASCAR's All-Star Race at North Wilkesboro Speedway, Sunday night. NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on Jacksonville's NASCAR station 1010XL.
Oh, no.
You okay in there?
Toilet's backed up. It won't flush.
Okay, I'll call the pros.
The tank isn't filling. The handle does nothing. Run for your life.
Don't be so dramatic. Duck Duck Rooter will fix it.
For any plumbing issue, call Duck Duck Rooter, your local plumbing professionals, and proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. DuckDuckRooter.com.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Looking for a fun-filled evening the whole family can enjoy? Discover the thrill of indoor football, a fast-paced, action-packed sport where excitement meets family fun. Check out your hometown Sharks this Saturday, May 17th. Kick-off at 7. Ask about family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card, all for only $100. Get tickets at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Prosser here, looking for a fun-filled evening that the whole family can enjoy. Our Jacksonville Sharks are back in town this Saturday. Discover the thrill of indoor football, fast-paced, action-packed sport where excitement meets family fun. This Saturday, May 17th, kickoff 7 o'clock. Ask about our family 4-packs, 4 tickets, 4 $10 food vouchers, and a $20 Al's Pizza gift card. All for only $100. For ticketing, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks!
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
You can help Micah's Place support domestic violence victims by playing in the Par for a Purpose golf tournament June 20th at the stunning Golf Club of Amelia Island. Register at micahsplace.org/golf.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
If you could benefit from a grief and loss support group, call Haven Hospice at 279-1677.
You have healing power. Even writing a letter or volunteering can help heal a veteran. Find out more at healvets.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
Take your shot at the PGA Championship with 1010XL's You Pick'em contest.
All right, boys, let's go do this.
Win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Whoa.
Opened up by Pella Windows and Doors. Enter at 1010XL.com.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
PRP treatment is kind of the thing these days, and in many cases, it eliminates the need for surgery. This is Sheridan Tootin, and my experience with PRP from Southeast Orthopedic Specialist has been nothing short of great. I'm really feeling much better now. Ask your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist doctor about PRP treatment.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Hey, Hicken here. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our homes. That's where Zero Res comes in. I love Zero Res, and this month get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet and air duct cleaner with May Mayhem. A 3-room special starting at $149 plus the 4th room is free. You owe it to yourself and your family to breathe healthy, happy, and clean. Call Zero Res, 287-57 Or go online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the Hicken Special. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line.
Hello.
Your floor's missing piece.
Our next guest, I have been a fan of for a very long time. Had him on a couple times while I was in Houston doing the bench with John and Lance, but I'm so glad I get to talk to an individual I've looked up to for so long, and that is June Lee. He's now an independent journalist as well as a storyteller, but many of you would know him from his great work that he did on ESPN shows such as Around the Horn and First Take, as well as his wonderful writings on ESPN.com. And he joins us now to speak on journalism, the change we've seen in it, and will it go back one day to the storytelling aspect that we loved so much. Mr. Lee, how are you?
Thanks for having me on. Wow, what a setup. I'm not sure I could live up to that.
Nah, absolutely, man. The pleasure is all mine. And like I said, I mean, I've been looking up to you for a very long time, so this is a dream come true to me. But before we get into the journalism portion of the interview, you are from Boston, were raised in Boston, and I'm sure you've been watching the series between the Celtics and the Knicks, and you hear the unfortunate news of Jason Tatum. He's tearing his Achilles, and nobody wants to see that. And I mean, heck, I'm a Lakers fan, and I don't want to see something like that or hear something like that where a player who's worked so hard to get to the NBA tear his Achilles, and hopefully he gets a speedy recovery and we see him back out on the floor. But what did you think of the injury, as catastrophic as it is, and what does this do for the future for not only Tatum but the Boston Celtics as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I have the game up right now, and they're up 23 points.
Yeah.
And, given the way that the series has gone, I don't want to jinx anything.
Right.
And so, I think for a lot of Celtics fans over the course of the last few days, there's been a level of grief because I think there's been an assumption, at least before tonight's game, that, the season was probably heading towards being over. I mean, the Celtics are really deep and have looked great tonight. I mean, their offense is way more dynamic than it has for most of this series, when I think they've kind of gotten lazy and kind of fallen back on doing a lot of setback threes. And
right.
Tonight they've been passing the ball a lot, and we've just seen big contributions from guys like Peyton Pritchard and Luke Cornett. But, I think Celtics fans have been going through the 5 stages of grief. I mean, I think that there's an assumption that if this season ends in the way that it seemed like it could when Tatum went down, that this team would be broken up. I mean, they're so far over the luxury tax and the second apron. Like, the team isn't financially in a position to be able to kind of handle all of these salaries given the change in ownership and the conversations and reports that have been coming out about whether or not the ownership group that's coming in is going to be willing to pay all the money that's going to be required to keep a team like this together. Like, even if they won a championship this season with Tatum on the floor, there's been questions about that. And so I think there's a little bit of grieving this era of Celtics basketball, even though this series isn't even over yet. I think the delusional Celtics fan in me is at least like, if they win the game tonight, like, I've seen the Red Sox come back from three down. So I've seen crazier things happen. So, I think if they win tonight, it keeps my delusional hope alive for at least one more game. But, we'll see what happens. They've looked great without Tatum tonight, so we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. They have, as the score is 106-85, 7:19 left to go in the fourth quarter in Game 5 between the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. Now, when it comes to journalism, you did a great piece where you were talking about that you learned a lot taking a step back as watching sports from that of a journalist to that of a fan. And did you feel like some of the things that you were able to chronicle being away from a place like ESPN and not being able to write for a while, did you feel that in the belly of the beast you weren't able to see it the way that you were able to see it now, and why you're going the route in which you're going to now try to bring the storytelling aspect back to that of sports?
Well, I think I tried when I was at ESPN to best capture the experience of what it's like to be a fan through the lens of my reporting. But I think in the 2 years since I got laid off in June of 2023, I think the industry changed quite dramatically with just the even greater shift towards streaming. I think the way that finding broadcast in general has gotten even more difficult in the last few years, and how much more expensive it's gotten because of the rise of the streaming wars between Max and Netflix. And now there's going to be an NFL game on YouTube this upcoming season. So there's just so many more places you have to tune into to watch sports games. And so I think that part of it has made it really, really difficult. And I think on top of that, like when I was at ESPN bet wasn't a thing. And I think that the rise of sports gambling was obviously happening, but it hadn't taken over the industry quite in the way that it has over the course of the last few years. And it's getting even more embedded in the culture. I mean, I had a conversation with a major league pitcher the other day, and he was telling me that over the last couple of years, especially, the tone of messages and DMs that he gets from fans, especially after a bad outing, is way more vile and ruthless than it was just a couple of years ago at the beginning of his career, and that the messages that his girlfriend and a lot of other wives and significant others and family members receive has gotten a lot more aggressive and angry. And so, I think that while I was at ESPN, things were changing, but I think in the last few years, especially, a lot of that stuff has accelerated. And I think, we're seeing a shift in media beyond cable television, where the internet is become the place where most people get their information. Like, people don't pay for journalism in the same way anymore, and because a lot of journalism is now behind paywalls, people don't have good access to information. And so, one of my main hopes with the YouTube channel is that I can provide high quality journalism for free, with ad support, with eventually sponsorship reads. But I think that there's a business model there that can support good independent journalism without having to compromise by taking things like gambling sponsorships, which I think has eroded the trust that a lot of fans have in the entire sports industry.
Continuing our conversation with June Lee, storyteller as well as journalist, joining us here on 1010 XL. Do you feel that, the sports fan in which we see now does miss that storytelling aspect? Because, I mean, for me, as a guy who grew up as a huge basketball fan, I enjoyed shows like Inside Stuff or The Association, because it really felt like they took you behind the curtain with some players. And I agree with you that, I mean, traditional journalism has taken that of a complete 180. And when you hear a lot of these debate shows nowadays, I mean, they are arguing a lot of the same topics. Who's better, LeBron or Jordan, or Mahomes and Brady? But do you feel that there is something there for the sports fan that's saying, listen, we miss the storytelling aspect of journalism in the way it was when we were growing up?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I heard a lot of friends, people who have been readers of mine for a long time, say that they miss stuff like sports science and sports reporters and outside the lines. And, I was a part of the ESPN debate culture. I'm not saying that hot takes and all that stuff is bad. I find it entertaining. I love having debates with my friends. I love going on TV, on radio, and having debates and conversations about whatever is happening in the sports world. But I think what's happened is that because of the way that the cable bundle and the media landscape is shifting so much, the emphasis towards things that might not have as much of a return on profit, things like outside the lines or sports reporters or sports science, it's not as attractive to cable companies that are trying to maximize every single dollar at a time where people are unsubscribing to cable more and more every single day. And so, I think the issue is that everything has shifted towards hot takes, versus hot takes being one of the things that you get in like a balanced sports diet. And I think that one of the things that YouTube provides the opportunity to do is to independently produce, things that we used to see on sports broadcasts, sports networks that kind of rounded out the sports fan palette, that was able to provide some good journalism or something just fun, or whatever. And it wasn't just hot takes, because right now, because of social media and because of what the media companies are trying to do in terms of maximizing their revenue, they're only kind of putting out hot take shows because they're cheap and they get a lot of attention on social media. And that's where most people get their information right now.
Do you think that, major sports networks and sports companies do get back to a day where it is like what the sports reporters were or sports science was, where you're doing more of that storytelling aspect, or, maybe those places are just really set in their ways and this is what we're going to be seeing for the foreseeable future? Or could there come a day where they're trying to go back to that aspect of the purity of what traditional journalism was?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to what the major sports networks are going to do. I just think that there's going to be more and more creators over the course of the next few years who are building out their own independent media operations, whether that's on Substack through writing and reporting or on YouTube as an on-camera thing. I don't think that like independent or traditional media and cable news is completely going to die. Like people have been saying,
right.
That like radio was going to die when cable TV came along, and obviously we're on the radio right now. We're still talking
right.
On a platform like this. So I don't think like cable TV is going to go away, but I think the power that cable TV had when people like us were growing up, where it was kind of the central thing that everything revolves around. I do think the power of that is shifting much more towards platforms like YouTube and Twitter, and I think we're going to start seeing more and more games on certain platforms over the next few years.
Final couple of moments with June Lee, journalist and storyteller, right here on 1010 XL and 92.5 FM. So the NFL schedule has come out. You being that of a New England Patriots fan, how do you like the schedule so far? Kind of what's your early prediction with the schedule and how you think the Patriots are going to fare this season?
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the Patriots. They had a good free agency. I think shoring up a lot of the depth. The draft filled up a lot of needs. Will Campbell, I'm hopeful for being a good left tackle. There's been a lot of talk about his short arms, which it feels like kind of weird to talk about people in that way, but
right.
It is obviously very crucial to his success as a left tackle. The thing with the strength of schedule stuff is that oftentimes the strength of a schedule will look one way in the preseason, and inevitably because the NFL is the NFL, teams that you didn't expect to be good are making the playoffs, and teams that you did expect to make the playoffs aren't. And
right.
so, I try not to judge the strength of schedule just based on that. But I mean, you can look at the quarterbacks. The Patriots have a pretty good, lineup. I think for them to be able to have a pretty big bounce back season. I think optimistically, like 10 wins is the optimistic end of the spectrum. But I think that if they're a 500 team this year and Drake May takes the step forward that I think a lot of Patriots fans are hoping for, it'll be a good year of progress for the team, especially as Mike Vrabel starts to establish a better culture in the entire facility.
One more for you before we let you go. Are you like many of us NBA fans or just sports fans in general that thought the NBA draft was that of rigged?
Well, this is kind of what I was talking about in regards to the way that I think the trust has degraded among sports fans and the institutions. One of the things I think people do understate is that these lotteries across sports are often audited by the accounting firm Ernst & Young, and these accounting firms are putting their reputations on the line for this, because if the lottery was rigged, it would be pretty nuts. That said, you just never know with these lotteries where it's like, I don't think that the lottery was rigged, but it is crazy to see how teams with 2% odds are able to catapult up. It really does feel like the basketball gods in some way, just like playing mind games with us, with Cooper Flagg going to the Mavericks now.
Let me tell you something. As a Lakers fan, I am absolutely sick to my stomach, June. I'm sick to my stomach. I wanted the suffering for Dallas to continue as we wrap up here with June Lee, storyteller as well as journalist. What stories are you looking to tell, and let the listeners know where they'll be able to find your great stories if they want to continue to follow you?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'm working on a couple different columns about the kind of the state of sports and where things are headed. And sports gambling. So those are two stories I think will hopefully drop at some point in the relative near future. In the nearer term, I'm working right now on a video about Kylian Mbappe's season for Real Madrid and the rise of Lamine Yamal, and why Mbappe's season, where he was able to fulfill a lifelong dream of going to one of the most famous sports franchises in the entire world, the place that he's been wanting to go to his entire life, was a major disappointment in his first year, and where he kind of is as he confronts the challenges of being the face of his generation, whether or not he's able to kind of live up to the mantle that people have put him up to over the course of his very young but developing career.
He is June Lee, formerly of ESPN, but doing an amazing job now bringing back the purity of traditional journalism with that of storytelling. Make sure to give him a follow on all social media platforms. He does an amazing job, and I'm glad to see that he is back out doing what he loves best. June, thank you so much, and hopefully we can do this again sometime soon down the road.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. There he goes, June Lee, trying to give you sports fans out there the purity, once again, of that of storytelling. Because, yes, we do live in a hot take world now, and it does seem to me that, you know, when you hear shows such as First Take and when you had Undisputed back in the day before Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp decided to go their separate ways, seemed like you were arguing about the same 3, 4, or 5 things. Guys like June Lee trying to bring back just that storytelling aspect, rooting for the underdog. I will certainly continue to follow his career and continued success to Mr. June Lee. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show and then give you our predictions one last time of the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule as it has now been released. It has been made official. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
1010XL takes you behind the microphone.
You're calling the station psychiatrist when you're supposed to be working?
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Do you know what psychiatry costs?
The Drill.
Anyway, this guy is helping me.
Mornings on 1010XL.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Hi, I'm Malcolm Anthony. Have you been charged with a crime? You don't have to face it alone. I'm here for you. Stay out of trouble, but if you don't, call me. 285-4LAW. That's 285-4LAW in the 904.
Are your kids ready to play this summer? Come check out the Y. Summer is a time for kids to explore new things and expand the limits of their imagination. At the Y Summer Camps, every day is a new adventure. Kids can learn about STEM, arts and humanities, athletic sports, outdoor games, and more. Registration is now open, but space is limited and spots are filling up quickly. Learn more and find your adventure at fcymca.org. Search Summer Day Camp.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. With the weather starting to turn for the better, look ahead. Get that backyard ready for spring with a new screened-in enclosure. Maximize the space you have and make it great with Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. They truly are best in the business. If you have the space and the idea, give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Yo, E.T. here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and nonstop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your pool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. It's been a few months since they built my custom closet. Even my family is obsessed. And with Father's Day right around the corner, why not surprise Dad with his own custom garage workspace? Tool storage, workbenches, the whole works. Closets by Design creates custom solutions for every space, lifestyle, and budget. That includes Dad's. Call to schedule your free in-home consultation and receive 40% off plus an additional 15% off. Visit closetsbydesign.com.
Denny Thompson here. You gotta check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. Did you know that mosquito bites could lead to heartworm for your dog or cat? When mosquitoes show up, pet parents want them gone. Terminix takes mosquitoes down fast, just like they did at my house for our pup. Terminix knows that pets are part of the family. They do what it takes to help protect them. When mosquitoes show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with a mosquito problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
I'm Stacy, and I want to tell you about my fogged up window fiasco at my house. I called up Mac at Baker Glass. He told me all I needed was a glass replacement. The process was so easy. All within a few days, they came out, measured, called me with an estimate, cut my glass, and came out to install the new ones. Now my view outside is fog-free thanks to Mac and his crew at Baker Glass. And my neighbors think I got some fancy new windows.
I'm Mac with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
For the greenest, luscious lawn on the block, choose the local legends, Roundtree Sod. Don't just settle for ordinary. Let Roundtree Sod deliver you a picture-perfect lawn. To get a free estimate, call 7414-SOD. 7414-SOD.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the Cool Down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
The NFL schedule, the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule is officially out. Christmas in May. We now know what we're going to be doing on our Sundays. For those of you just tuning in and have yet to hear about the Jacksonville Jaguars schedule, it does go as follows. We open up with the Carolina Panthers, followed by a road trip to Cincinnati to face the Bengals. Then you'll come back home to play the Houston Texans before going back out on the road to face the San Francisco 49ers. That's your first 4 games. We got a Monday night game this year against the Kansas City Chiefs on October 6th. Make sure to get your tickets to the stadium. Make sure we go out there and support the teal and black. We'll also be at home once again to face the Seattle Seahawks before going across the pond to face the LA Rams. Big bro against little bro. We'll enjoy the bye week before hitting the road again, back-to-back weeks facing the Las Vegas Raiders and the Houston Texans. Before coming home and facing the LA Chargers, you'll hit the road back-to-back times once again, facing the Cardinals and the Tennessee Titans. Back-to-back home games against the Colts and the Jets. Hit the road 2 more times to face the Broncos and the Colts once again before finishing your season against the Tennessee Titans. If you missed it on the program, I have this team as a 10-win team. I certainly do believe. However, I do feel like those first 5 weeks are going to be critical, and you're going to have to be able to steal one. And the one I am looking for you to steal is that against San Francisco. I don't know if you're ready yet for a team like Cincinnati. I feel like that's going to be a team that's going to be highly motivated going into this upcoming season. But San Francisco, I have my questions about them. You know, they don't look like a team that scares me as they did a few years ago. They just don't feel that way anymore. I think you could steal a win on the West Coast. Now, it's a hard thing to do. Jacksonville hasn't had the greatest of records going out on the West Coast. But something in me just says, I think you can steal that one. If you can go 3-2, that'll be great. There may be some that say, listen, you can go 2-3 after 5. We got one person on the YouTube chat line saying that he sees the team going 4-1. Listen, I owe you a steak dinner if they do that. I owe you a steak dinner if they go 4-1. Then they're absolutely like the New York Knicks and a team of destiny. Although the New York Knicks got blown out, that series has now been extended thanks to the Boston Celtics. Series will now shift back to New York. Now, when it comes to that of Travis Hunter, PFF has put out a post. When it comes to playing both sides of the ball, Travis Hunter, the notable matchups he'll be going up against. Week 1, we know he's going to open up against Tet McMillan. Jamar Chase in week 2, Nico Collins, Brandon Ayuk, Rashee Rice, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Puka Nacua, Nico Collins once again, Lad McConkey, Marvin Harrison Jr., Garrett Wilson, Cortland Sutton. That could be a few of the names he goes toe-to-toe against if Jacksonville places him on the defensive side. I feel like it's going to be an all-out war between he and that of Nico Collins, just due to the fact that he's going to see him a couple times this year. And Nico Collins, that's a bad man. I'm just certainly going to be interested in that matchup to see what the young Travis Hunter does. Now, on the cornerback side, people who will be going toe-to-toe against that of Travis Hunter, you'll have guys like J.C. Horn, Derek Stingley Jr., Trent McDuffie, Devon Witherspoon, L'Jarius Sneed, Mr. Ward, Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain. Let's see that matchup between Derek Stingley Jr. and Travis Hunter. I don't think that there's anybody in the NFL right now that's scared of Travis Hunter. I think there's going to have to be a thing of like, okay, man, listen, show me. Going to have to show me. I think that goes for both wide receivers as well as cornerbacks that he'll go up against this season. But it's definitely going to be exciting because this is going to be the first time we've seen this done. A guy playing on both sides of the ball at an extensive rate. Now, we've had guys that have played both sides, Deion being notable. But this is a guy that's damn near wanting to play a whole entire game on both sides of the ball. I don't think Jacksonville is going to do that. But these are the names he's going to be going up against year one. He'll certainly have his work cut out for him. But I believe that this guy has the cachet to do it. I believe he has the confidence to do it. I do believe there's going to be some guys that are going to have his number. I won't be surprised if, let's say, a guy like Jamar Chase in week 2 just has his number. If that's ultimately the matchup that we see in some scenarios. I won't be surprised if an individual like Derek Stingley Jr. has his number in some scenarios. But I think Travis Hunter is going to do his absolute best and going to lead Jacksonville as well as Trevor Lawrence and the entire team to a 10-7 record. That's going to do it for us here on the Superstation. Appreciate you guys for allowing me to be part of your nights for the last 3 nights. Appreciate Dylan Denmark being along for the ride Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Rick Ballou will be back next week. Until then, God bless and make all your shots hit the bottom of the net. We will talk to you 2 Sundays from now on Open Gym as we continue our coverage of the NBA playoffs. Have a good night, everybody.